Hey everybody, welcome back to Comic Crow, and I'm gonna be a bit careful in my language here because I'm gonna try to upload this to YouTube, but I'm also putting this up on Twitter now because I feel like the conversation is really important. The situation regarding this Jordan Neely individual is pretty disgusting to me. So for those of you who are unaware, Jordan Neely was recently choked out on a subway platform as he was held down by multiple people because he was in the process of attempting to attack a couple and their child. He had something like 44 arrests, ranging from fair evasion to actual assault. One of the assaults was when he, who was 30 years old, walked up to an elderly woman and punched her in the face, which, for those of you who are unaware, a 30-year-old man going to an elderly woman and punching her in the face is lethal, okay? Like, that has the potential to actually murder someone. But also there are things like pushing people in front of the, pushing people off the subway platform. He was mentally unwell and a career criminal. And so in New York right now, they have bail reform. And when I say bail reform, the idea behind it was, you know, you should not keep people in prison because they were arrested. They haven't actually been convicted. And I think, like, I agree with that message. But the problem is, then you run into people like Jordan Neely who get arrested 44 times and are on video attacking people. So it's, I don't know what you want me to say. I support the idea behind bail reform, but in practice in New York City, it's led to hardcore career criminals repeatedly attacking people, getting arrested, and then released to go attack more people. Anyways, there's this revisionist history that's going on in this Jordan Neely guy, and I'm saying it right now. This is the next George Floyd, okay? But unlike George Floyd, where, you know, yeah, he had done some things, you know, he had done some drugs at the time and everything. You know, he was being arrested for, you know, a counterfeit $20 bill, and the whole thing just sounds like complete and utter bullshit. That he would need to be restrained. So I understand the George Floyd situation, why people were so upset by it. This is completely different. In fact, it's not the cops doing it. It's other people on the subway with the Marine who is choking him are holding Jordan Neely down. And apparently the people on the subway were familiar with Jordan Neely because they'd seen him attack people multiple times. So it's like, my goodness. What they're trying to do is pull up like these clips that are 8+ years old. Okay, of Jordan Neely impersonating Michael Jackson on the subway, and they're talking about, oh, I've seen Jordan Neely. Oh, he was such a sympathetic victim, and he was brutally murdered while people watched and cheered it on. So Community Notes is fact-checking this stuff now, and it's a New York Post and Washington Post article. Video showing the altercation has no apparent cheering and shows multiple bystanders trying to restrain Neely after witnesses claim Neely was erratic and verbally aggressive. So, that's your story. That's your story. Hardcore career criminal with an actual mental health problem, who was repeatedly arrested from prison, who was never treated for his mental health issues, got. That's it. That's your story. But people are desperately looking for the next George Floyd, and they're doing it in the most, I don't know what you want to say. Don't get me wrong, guys. None of this is scripted. I'm going off the cuff. I pulled up some tweets because I want you to see the conversation that's going on right now, and why it absolutely frustrates me. Although in this situation, there is much more pushback, okay? And that's a good thing, because we cannot simp for career criminals with mental health issues that like to attack people. We cannot do that. We absolutely cannot do that, because the moment we start doing it, we're dead. We're completely done as a society. All right. We need far more pushback against this narrative that Jordan Neely was some sort of innocent victim. He was not. He was a violent career criminal. They see stuff like this because they're trying to get past the 44 times for felony assault. And I'll be clear, it wasn't 44 times for felony assault. He did have a felony assault warrant out for him. He was wanted for arrest because, again, he had committed felony assault just previously. But the other arrests are just, disorderly conduct, fare evasion, and assault. Okay, it's so many times this dude is breaking the law and he's never getting punished, and the behavior is getting worse. See, that's the thing. Let's say you have a kid, okay, and you tell the kid, don't steal cookies from the cookie jar. I'm using a simple analogy for you guys because I know this conversation becomes mucked down in stupidity. But you have a kid, and the kid, you tell him you can't steal cookies from the cookie jar. And you walk out of the room, you walk back in, kid's got like 2 cookies in his pocket. You tell him, don't do it again. You walk out of the room, now he's got 3 cookies. And you're like, dude, stop eating cookies from the cookie jar. Okay? I told you already, I told you to stop. It's bad behavior, but I'm not going to punish you. So then you leave, and now your kid's like, I don't know, diabetic. He's constantly shoving fucking cookies down his mouth because you never stop the behavior. You just encourage it by telling him you're not going to punish him. He can just keep doing it. You're disappointed in him. What does that fucking matter? They're trying to claim this guy is like, he's innocent. He didn't touch anybody. He was just, verbally abusive and getting in the face of a couple and their child. And he has a history of attacking people, and people on the subway knew this. Oh man. This is one of those situations where I'm somewhat perplexed by it, because this guy is the definition of a menace to society, okay? Like the actual definition of a menace to society. Jordan Neely was arrested 44 times. Ignoring that, was a homeless guy who was mostly arrested for bullshit like fare evasion. I mean, okay, let's say he was a guy with a house who was arrested 3 times for assault and had an active felony warrant. That'd be 4 times. We'll cut down, we'll go to just 1/11th of the amount of crimes he has actually done. And it would still be too many times. The first time he assaulted somebody, he should be in a prison cell. The second time he assaulted somebody, he should be in a prison cell. The third time he assaulted somebody, he should be in a prison cell. The fourth time he assaulted somebody, he should be in a prison cell. And the argument is, he was suffering from a mental health crisis. Well, that's the city's fault. Okay, that's your city. That's New York City. That's the residents' fault, because they push for bail reform. And when they have somebody with an obvious mental health problem who keeps attacking people, they don't do anything about it. They don't do anything about it. They just let the guy go, let him keep attacking people. Oh, right. Yeah, we got the squad members, so let's talk about that. He may not have been houseless and arrested 44 times if Bill de Blasio and his wife didn't steal $850 million from Thrive NYC, which was slated to help people like Jordan Neely. No, that's actually true. They actually do have funds to help people with obvious mental health issues like Jordan Neely. Guess what? They're not actually using it to help people like Jordan Neely. So Jordan Neely is going out there attacking people. But let's talk about this special level of fucking disgusting stupid, right? Jordan Neely was murdered, but because Jordan was houseless and crying for food, okay? He was a Michael Jackson impersonator crying for food as some vicious white evil racist comes up behind him and chokes him out. Oh, this is terrible. This is awful. I get making fun of AOC is kind of just fun, but like this woman is legitimately disgusting. Like, I don't know if she's so vain and narcissistic that she didn't even look at the story before running her fucking mouth, Or is she such an evil degenerate that she's willfully lying about a violent career criminal because she's desperate for another issue to rile people up and gain more support? I really don't know, and I honestly don't care. Either way, disgusting and amoral behavior. But of course, it's not just her. So Ayanna Pressley, he was 30 years old. Black men deserve to grow old, not be lynched on a subway because they were having a mental health crisis. Jordan deserved better. Accountability now. I said it, and he's been held accountable. He's been held accountable. Jordan Neely was held accountable. But I will say this, okay? I will say this. New York City does not give a shit about helping people like Jordan Neely. They're more than willing to let him run free on the streets, attack and assault people, and the only individuals that they think need to be punished are anyone that defends themselves. That's your society. So woke, okay? Because this is all fucking woke. For those of you who don't know, woke means that you see these invisible structures in society. And those structures are meant to help certain classes of people, hold them down, while lifting up others. And to be woke is to try to flip those structures on their head so you can raise up the oppressed versus the oppressor. But when you make that whole argument around fucking race, what they're doing is they're taking a black man and they're deciding by the color of his skin, he is an oppressed individual. And because it was a white guy that was restraining him, he was an oppressor based solely on the color of his skin. It is an overtly racist argument. Overtly racist argument. That's why they turn around and say it's impossible to be racist against white people, because black individuals, they don't have the societal structural power. Minorities don't have that. Even though we're talking about two different congresswomen who have much power, large followings, and repeatedly lie over and over and over again without a care in the damn world about what's coming out of their mouths because it gives them more power. I saw this guy because he goes, worth a death sentence, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, if you're going, like, if you punch an elderly woman in the face and you're 30 years old and you're a man, that can actually drop and kill that person. And he goes, so Rambo Jr. choked him to death and knew about the attack. Now, here's the thing, okay? I did not know this at the time. There's this video, okay? And this is a man, okay, who you can see comes up behind a woman, grabs her, chokes her out, drags her off to the platform. I'm not going to go too far into it, but he takes her to the floor, starts punching her and taking her stuff. And I was like, that's Jordan Neely, right? Okay, it's not. It's actually not. It's another man who has been arrested over 40 times attacking, choking out, and robbing a woman on the subway platform. So you have multiple Jordan Neelys in New York City right now who use the subway to attack and assault people. I can't. I just can't. I honestly can't. You have people that are legitimately defending this behavior. It's disgusting. It's amoral. Like it's like they've actually accepted and embraced evil, and that's it. They're okay using overtly racist arguments in support of very, very evil people. By the way, because there are people going like, oh, he did it because he's a racist white guy. He's a racist white guy who decided to just attack this non-aggressive man just begging for food. You see, it's a black dude holding him down too, right? Like, the black dude is holding his arms to stop him from flailing around and hitting people. Well, is the black guy also racist? Is this internalized white supremacy? Or was it multiple people on that subway saw what was going on and tried to put a stop to it because the police wouldn't, the city wouldn't, They're not helping this guy with his mental health problem. They're releasing him into the public to go terrorize society. Finally, and this is just the last thing. I personally don't care. There are so many people out in the streets, okay? Protesting, angry. They're attacking this journalist. Actually, it's pretty funny because in these videos, they're getting really, really, really pissy with this Timcast journalist because he's in New York City. I'm not going to play the clips because it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. We already know what these people are about. Like, you can go watch them yourself. They're on Twitter. But he gets attacked. Okay, he's actually attacked multiple times, and the cops just stand around, don't want to do anything, don't want to get involved, don't want to be accused of being racist. Like, you're done. New York City is done. You know what I think the next president should do? Figure out some way of cutting off all funds to New York. And I'm not even kidding. All funds to New York until New York City decides that, criminal, violent behavior is bad, is wrong. And when you assault people, you should be arrested and you should be put in prison. And you're not going to make an argument based on fucking skin color to justify violent behavior. Until then, I think any time they riot and they burn and they loot these cities, you should just annex them. I'm not kidding. Just straight up annex them. Because it's only going to stop when they're the only ones suffering. Put the violent criminals into the wealthy parts of Manhattan and see how quickly these people flip. Put the violent criminals into their communities and see how quickly they flip. Because we've seen it over and over again with people on the left. The moment it affects them, the moment it starts terrorizing them, then they want change. Until then, they will gladly watch other human beings suffer because the mob approved it. So start doing it to them. And by the way, I saw another argument. I don't have the tweet pulled up that, if he was such a violent criminal, well, why would all these people run to the streets to protest against his unjustifiable killing? And the only thing I thought was Jacob Blake. Jacob Blake, a man who had sexually assaulted a woman, returned to her home, attacked her, then attempted to go into her car and kidnap her kids while holding a knife. And the cop is like telling him, put down the knife, like screaming it over and over and over again. After he's been tased multiple times, and he still tries to get into the car with the knife, and he gets paralyzed. Doesn't die, he gets paralyzed. And they raise this man millions of dollars. A man who had sexually assaulted a woman and returned to her home. They raised millions of dollars for him. That's what you're dealing with. They're evil people. Their entire worldview is based solely on race. And they'll decide who is innocent and who is guilty only off of skin color. That's your next George Floyd here, a violent career criminal.